I hardly need to tell the people in this room at this conference that we're living in an incredibly revolutionary time. This photo, though, is of a different revolutionary time, and it's useful for us to be able to anchor on the fact that revolutions are happening all the time related to technology. So this is two photos of Fifth Avenue in New York City. On the left, 1900, on the right, 1915. And what you'll see if you look closely at the photos is that in 1900, the roadway was full of horse and carriage. By 1915, all the horses were gone. By 1930, horses were largely gone from every urban environment across the US. There's a tremendous transformation that happened related to technology. Similarly with computers, right? So this is a really early computer, ENIAC. And now we have all these technologies today that we carry around with us all around. You might recognize a few of these things: the Humane Pin, the Rabbit R1, Apple's new Vision Pro, and of course, my favorite actually is Tab. But we'll talk about that later. The point is, technology is changing everything about our society and our economy and the way we live. And in fact, at Bain, we survey enterprises all the time to talk about the different technologies they're adopting. We've never seen more interest in a technology than we see in generative AI. Every single one of the companies that we talk to is saying that it is a priority. Many of them, 8%, said it's their #1 priority, and that percentage is actually growing pretty rapidly. Why is it? Well, as you all know, generative AI is giving us the ability to do things with machine intelligence we've never been able to do before. When we look at how companies are applying automation and AI across their workforce to be able to transform the way the work is being done, there is a current average of 27% of labor that organizations feel they've taken out using automation and AI, and the expectation is it'll be over 41% on average within the next 2 years. We think that is actually understated. We think people don't actually understand the exponential curve that we are on with this technology, because there's an opportunity to take 99% of the work out. And in fact, what we're doing is we're looking at those opportunities in companies where we can prove this 99% use case, and we can have an enormous transformational impact and get the boards and get the folks in the C-suite to focus on transformation using technology. So let me give you one specific example. So it's this pharmaceutical example. Many of you may, as I have, suffered from some disease. I'm a cancer survivor myself. So many of us rely upon the pharmaceutical industry to be able to bring us life-saving drugs. It is a very long process, as we all saw during COVID, to get those drugs, in that case, the vaccinations, to a point where we are able to give them to humans at scale. And one of the barriers of that is the regulatory filings that we as citizens and patients all want. We want the FDA and other regulatory bodies in the world to actually protect us. But if you imagine you're a drug company, you finish the clinical trials, which have taken years, and now you're still looking at 6 to 9 months to take the 10,000 pages of documentation and turn it into regulatory filing. So imagine that instead you're able to take all of those documents and use generative AI to help do something generative AI is really good at, which is summarize information. And in fact, what we're able to do is break down all of the problems in that regulatory filing process and apply generative AI to those problems so that we could reduce the time, instead of it being 6 or 9 months, weeks. Now, that does not mean that humans are out of the loop, right? What it means is that the generative AI is doing all of this very routine, repetitive work, taking thousands of documents, finding the right parts of the documents. How do I actually look at all of the different information I've gotten from different physicians, different care patterns, and make sense of it in a regulatory filing? And then actual medical trained professionals do read through this before it goes to the FDA. You don't just push a button and go, I wonder what the FDA will get. And in fact, we've run this process now side by side with a human process. And what we found was a couple of words difference, words that actually had no relevance in the filing. The machine is doing just as good a job as the people, okay? And that means that I can bring a drug to market 6 to 9 months faster. And that means that people who are suffering from that disease state are going to get cured. That also means that the drug company is going to make hundreds of millions of dollars of revenue that they would not have otherwise made because they're able to get that drug to market that much sooner. That is a 99% solution. It's in fact at that point not even about the cost of the staff that we are saving. It is about the revenue opportunity and the life-saving opportunity. So this is a little bit about what the interface looks like. Imagine that every step of the way as this filing is being generated, there's a human that has a screen like this where the human is in the loop. They're looking at every single one of these pages. They're looking at how the information's been gathered. They can go to the source material and validate it. They can make edits. So we are not saying that, gee, this intelligence, this machine intelligence is so good it replaces humans. No, not at all. What we're saying is it can take all of the rote, repetitive work out. And I think that is one of the most amazing things that companies are not paying attention to, is while we're all distracted by, oh, it hallucinates, it's not reliable, it depends on the training data. No, there are things that it does very, very well today that will save you an enormous amount of time and money, and we should be focused on those opportunities. There are a tremendous number of interesting companies. I've actually been, I hope, like all of you, really enthused by the 200 companies that are here, not just presenting down the first floor, but presenting the 80 that presented in the startup. We think this is the other area that enterprises are not paying enough attention to, is who are the innovative startups that are going to transform the way in which we think about using this technology. And so we're telling every single one of our clients, you need to be engaged in the startup ecosystem. You need an innovation center. This stuff is happening way too fast for you to sit and wait. Thank you very much.